Hey, it's Jürgen. Just checking in before the big cup game. We're on fire, aren't we? That 4-0 win over Shonan Belmara and a solid 3-0 win against Shimizu Pulse, pure class from the squad. Our new signings are fitting and perfectly, and the transfer window has gone smoothly with a few new faces coming in. Now, it's all about the Albirex Cup quarter-final against Albirex Niigata. A big test, but with our form, I feel confident.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 18 of Red Bull KloppBot here on Sean Does the FM with Omiya Ardija. I hope you're doing well and coming today. We've done a few more transfers to end our last window here in our first season in the J1, and also we're going to play a quarter-final in the Emperor's Cup against one of the teams just behind us on that J1 table in Albirex Niigata. So if you're looking forward to that, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up, all that good stuff. But yesterday we took on Kawasaki Frontale in a previous round of this competition, as well as then taking on Kodasanga in the league and pretty close to a top of the table clash. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Obviously picked up a win in the Emperor's Cup game, otherwise wouldn't be coming back for today's episode. Unfortunately though, did drop points to Kodasanga, so that was a bit frustrating, but thankfully got back on track off the back of that with very comfortable wins over two teams in the bottom half of the table. First up, 3-0 over Shimmers, with best pulse goals there to Kineshita, our new signing, and Amuzu came in to replace Unholy, that transfer that we did in yesterday's episode. And also Kabiyama came off the bench and wrapped it up with only 9 minutes to go. And then we upped that score by one more away from home when we took on Shonan Belmare. Double to Damas, Amazu again on the score sheet, as well as Shunjusu. So far, in the two games he's played, Amuzu hasn't really missed a beat coming in for Unholy. Was wondering if there was going to be an issue going in the remainder of this season, but early stages, to be fair, not against very good teams yet, but 2 games, 2 goals. He does look like a pretty good replacement. Hopefully might end up being even better and helping us just make sure we hold on to our lead on top of the J1. But here's what the table now looks like. Still 3 points clear, but these days it's over Kawasaki Frontale. Teams that have dropped points: Albirex Niigata, Avispa Fukuoka, and Kodasanga. These days down in 6th, just behind Consadole Sapporo. So a few gaps now starting to appear in that chasing pack behind us here. It does mean now we're 7 points clear of the team that we're about to play down in 3rd. So we're starting to potentially get into a little bit of a 2-horse race for the title. And next month, we take on Kawasaki Frontale in the J1. That's probably what we're going to come back for in tomorrow's episode. But before we have a look at Albirex Niigata, who we take on here in this Emperor's Cup quarterfinal, we have done a few more transfers, as I hinted at earlier, with deadline day taking place during that little period I've played off the back of yesterday's episode. And to be fair, most of it was a little bit unexpected in terms of what we did. Now, first up, had a spare registration slot, and I thought we could actually get in a right back on loan, seeing as that midfielder we bought yesterday in Naruoka, he's already played for 2 clubs this season, so can't be registered, so he's gone down to the reserves. Opened up a spare registration spot, so I thought we'd bring in an extra right back on loan, seeing as that's an area we're just a little bit weak in. If we do suffer an injury to Shunsuke, Nishikubu comes in on loan from JF United Chibas. To be fair, not the best team to be loaning someone from, considering they're not doing too well, but to be fair, he looks like a half-decent player there with 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. He's a squad player for us for the remainder of this season if we get injuries to one of Figueiredo or Tanabe. And to be fair, not a bad-looking player for a team that have been struggling as much as JF United Chiba have. You can see he's actually been playing a fair chunk of their games. For some reason, they accepted the loan bid that we did put in. There is a future fee if we're going to look at the contract of around 700k, but thankfully it's optional. We'll see if we take them up on that. We probably could have gone for cheaper if we just opted to buy him, but seeing as that midfielder should be able to play for us next season, not too sure if we'll need this guy. So Nishikubo comes in as a loan option for the remainder of this season. And also, we've pulled in a left back because our previous 3rd choice in Abdul Rahman got frustrated with his game time here at the club, much like what previously happened with Minami in our previous window. So he's now gone to Renofa Yamaguchi down in J2. That was for a fee of around £325,000. Not bad considering we picked him up on a free early this season. 5 games for us. To be fair, actually did a pretty good job when he made his way onto the field, but got a bit fed up with being 3rd choice. He's now down in the J2, making a good profit on him. And we do make a profit because his replacement cost us a little bit less and he is a foreigner, seeing as we could really afford a foreigner in that left back spot. Already got Suzuki who can sit on the bench. We've got a foreigner starting in Kanade, so I thought maybe an extra foreigner wouldn't be the worst idea, especially because there were no local options that wanted to join us who could play left backs. Really, our hand was forced, but it does mean another foreigner, but it should be okay with left back already being in position. We have kind of accounted for that. So Paulo Fernandes comes in from Sabadell. That was for a fee of £300,000. You can see that looks like pretty good value for someone who has 3.5-star current ability and 5-star potential already. A good J1 player, so it does mean Suzuki now, probably a specialist bench player for us unless we get some big injuries in that left back spot. Paulo Fernandes, the new second choice, in behind Kanade, but can't make his way onto the bench because of the whole 5 foreign player rule. So Fernandes comes in to replace Abdul Rahman. That's definitely an upgrade, and also an extra right back just in case we get some injuries in the latter part of the season. Also worth noting, don't even need to register this guy because he's still under 21 years old. That's how we wrapped up the transfer window. A little bit of a move there at left back and also some reinforcements at right back as well. And hopefully that will just help us hold on to top spot in the J1 and maybe complete a domestic treble as we're still alive in the Cups, making our way through to the quarters of both. Should really be doing the job in the J-League Cup against the team from down in J3. But before then, we've got Albirex Niigata in the Emperor's Cup up in third, and their recent form is pretty good. They've dropped points against the Urawa Red Diamonds as well as the Kashima Antlers, but beaten some decent teams. I say decent, sort of mid-table in Yokohama F. Marinos, Gamba Osaka, and they beat V Vellum from down in J2 in the previous round of this competition. We know about these guys because we played them not too long ago in the league. Hopefully can pick up a result against these guys, albeit we'll go back and check what happened in that game. I'm pretty sure it worked out quite well, and indeed a 4-0 win not too long off the back of that 2-2 draw with Consuelo Sapporo. To be fair, did take us a little while to get the goals in that game, but hopefully we can do something similar with this one, also being at home, and make our way through to the final 4 of the Emperor's Cup. To be fair, does look like we're on the tough side of the draw, because if we win this tie, we'll then take on the winner of the clash between Avispa Fukuoka or Gamba Osaka. Could be running a little bit of a chasing pack gauntlet here in this competition if we do end up taking on Avispa in the semi-finals. But in terms of injuries, thankfully just got one. Tomoya Yokoyama, a stub toe, he's out for 1 more day, so we're not going to risk him off of the bench for this game that we're going to play in today's episode. It does mean for the first time that we're calling up Junchu Chia from our under-18s. He's the player who we were banking on as our third choice once we did that loan yesterday of Osawa, and he is quite promising, the 17-year-old with 2.5-star current ability and 5-star potential. We'll see if Kinoshita is not doing the job, if this guy can help us out, bit of a young gun who hopefully might be able to see us through to the next round in the Cup. But be fair, might give him some game time when we've got that tie against the team from down in J3 in the J-League Cup. That's really our only change to our best 11 for this Cup game, and hopefully can make our way through to the semi-finals with a win at home over Albirex Niigata. And here are the team sheets for this Emperor's Cup quarterfinal. First up is us. Our form now looking a lot better than it was when we came back for yesterday's episode, and we were going with our best 11, just that change in terms of the backup striker on the bench. Albirex Niigata also coming to this one in some pretty good form, and also a pretty similar formation to what we're running, but hopefully can pick up a win and make the semis. And just show the 10-minute mark with the first highlight of this game. It's a throw-in here to Albirex Niigata, who today are in the all-white. They're knocking it about here down their left-hand side. Fujiwara just making his way back. They try and loop that one over the top, but thankfully Core heads that one out to Kanade, and now Saito starts to drive forward. A chance for us here. A little bit fortunate to get that ball back there through Lee Hyunju. We find Kinoshita, who puts it away. Amuzu won't get an assist though, because he was offside, so far offside, we don't even see the replay. But to be fair, did look pretty clear cut. But off the back of that, another highlight here where Albirex Niigata do start on the ball. They get inside of the box, but thankfully the striker there, his shot goes well over the bar. Decent chance there for both teams, but still 0-0. And pretty much smack bang middle of the first half of this game, there's a throw-in here for Albirex Niigata inside of our half. So far, highlights are staying with these guys on the ball. They find the Hayakawa in some space down their right-hand side. Thankfully, good block there that should have been by Kanada. They float that one far post. Figueiredo heads it away, and a chance for us here as Yamada could have started to get us going there on the counter-attack, but just took his time, and we play that one back to Matsumoto, and now Figueiredo, that ball goes infield to Dimas, thankfully, plays it back to Core. We just keep hold of the ball, but that's a poor pass. Kanade gets a bit of a foot in there, which might have just disrupted that counter-attack enough. Thankfully, Higashi pushes that one over the bar, but that pass from Dimas, a little bit weak. Thankfully, doesn't prove too costly. A deflected shot off the back of the corner, but thankfully, Higashi got enough of a sider on that one to claim it, and still 0-0, just shy of the half-hour mark. Was just thinking that maybe I should change some opposition instructions, but a highlight starts. Let's see what happens from this first. We try and break up that attack there from Albirex, but unfortunately, they keep hold of the ball. Higashi might have got a touch on that one onto the woodwork so far, well and truly on the back foot, but thankfully, still 0-0. And just about to make our way here into the last 5 minutes of the first half, and thankfully had a chance there to do something for the first time since that opening highlight where we were offside, but unfortunately they clear their lines quite well. We get the ball back, and Amuzu makes his way into the final third. Not too sure if that was the chance from this highlight. I think that was a deflected cross, and it came off the woodwork. The ball goes to Yamada. He takes a shot. Looked like that one came off the wrist of the goalkeeper. Otherwise, not too sure how that's gone to the right-hand side of the goal, but nonetheless, decent save there from the goalie. We get the ball back from the set piece, but unfortunately, Lee Hyun-ju, having taken that corner, is still offside. You can see the stats there. We've definitely been on the back foot for this first half, albeit now we're starting to get some chances. A set piece looking there for Saito near post, but unfortunately, that one goes pretty safely over the crossbar. So started to work our way into that game late in the first half, but really, that was a pretty average effort, just seeing what the ratings do look like there for players, and some of them are a bit average on a 6.5, but this is our best 11, and taking on one of the better teams here in the J1 this season. I think we'll just try and rev them up here and see if those ratings do improve in the second half. Otherwise, we'll bring some bench impact on, but currently it's a bit of a stalemate at 0-0. And it won't take us too long to make our first sub in the second half. Only a few minutes in, and Matsumoto is going okay, but has just picked up a yellow card, so Urakami can come off the bench, still 0-0. And only a few minutes off back of that sub, there is the first highlight here of the second half, and we're trying to make our way here out from the back, albeit camped here inside of the opposition half. Lee Hyun-ju makes his way into the box, but unfortunately, our best chance so far of this game, and he drags it wide there left of the upright, albeit I say that, actually, that took a deflection. It's not quite as bad a miss as I thought it was, but unfortunately, nothing doing from the subsequent corner, still 0-0. And we just made our way past the hour mark in this game, and a few players are down to some pretty average ratings, albeit Kinoshita, I thought was on a 6.4, it's just gone up to a 6.6, so maybe we leave him out there for a little bit longer, but Fuki Yamada is struggling on a 6.5, so Yokotomo has been pretty good for us of late, especially while Yamada had an injury earlier this season. He can come on with a half hour left. Unfortunately, we encourage, and it cuts out a highlight, still 0-0. And pretty shortly off the back of that previous sub, a highlight starts here with a goal kick, albeit it isn't our favour. Going to try and make our way here up from the back. Kanade's dropped down to a red heart, but the next stoppage we have, need to use the remainder of our subs. We'll see when a few more players drop down to red hearts. Hopefully that won't prove costly in this highlight, but to be fair, we are giving the ball a couple of times. Now he plays it forward there to Amuzu. It goes out now to the other side. Yokotomo, nice ball over the top there for Kinoshita, who thankfully we left on because he puts that one away in the bottom right corner. Yokotomo off the bench will get an assist, and we finally take a 1-0 lead. To be fair, we have been doing a bit better in this game since the late stages of the first half. To think that maybe we should look for the run of Figueiredo, but Kinoshita, that's a really good run. Might have even got a little bit of help there from the inside of the post, but finally there's a goal in this game, 1-0 with 20 minutes left, and now we're going to make some subs because there's players on red hearts and also yellow cards. Kanade can come off for Suzuki, Saito for Shimoda, and also Amazu has been pretty good for us so far here, but on a red heart, let's bring on Kabayama. Those are our final subs, having just taken a 1-0 lead. And only a minute on from those subs, there is a corner here in our favour, hoping to find here a cushion goal. Kabayama goes down. Unfortunately, nothing given, and a chance here for Albirex Niigata to do something on the counter-attack. Ramirez squares that one nicely for Meza, plays it forward there to Mafiba, who I thought was offside, but he's not. We don't even go up to VAR for this one. Maybe it's not on the Emperor's Cup, but that's 1-1, I swear there. That looked a little bit too good to be true. Keep a close eye out here on the replay, and I think they're our left back, and Suzuki has just kept him on that sloppy work there off the back of that corner, where unfortunately Kabayama went down, they hit us on the counter attack, and just like that, it's back to all square at 1-1. And we just make our way into the last 5 minutes of regular time in this game. There's going to be a late highlight, still locked up at 1-1, but it does start here with Albirex Niigata on the ball, but through their goalkeeper. They pump that one deep. Thankfully, Figueiredo will win that one and plays it down to Lee Hyun-ju before Dimas. He finds Kabayama, who did kind of not help us before, giving the ball away when we did concede that goal, albeit wasn't too deliberate, but still frustrating. Nice ball over the top again there for Kinoshita, but this time the assistant referee puts the flag up, and indeed, no VAR. That one's just given as offside. At least this time we actually see the lines, and that centre back there just steps up in time, so that's a little bit frustrating. Otherwise, that would have been a goal to hopefully have sealed us victory, but unfortunately, this one's going to go to extra time. You can see now the stats were actually on the front, but we got into our rhythm there in the second half of that game. But unlike most cup competitions I'm used to, there's no extra time subs, so it does mean we can't change anything going into this extra 30 minutes as we look for a winner to make our way through the semis. And we come back here as I'm adjusting some opposition instructions in game. Nothing happened in the first half of extra time, still locked up at 1-1. But I've just come in here and seen something. Their goalkeeper got injured, and of course, we didn't get any extra subs for the extra time period in this game. So I'm just checking what's going on. Indeed, they're down to 10 men. Who have they got in goal here? It's a defensive midfielder. So hopefully now we can just get some shots off, and that might prove a big factor in extra time in this game. They're down to 10 men, having to play a defensive midfielder in goal, because Kojima, he went off late on in that first half of extra time. So that's a big advantage for us now. Even tempted to go a little bit attacking for the remainder of this game, but we'll see if what usually works does work. And just I was thinking of going attacking for the last 5 minutes of this one. We have a throw in here inside the final third. Surely just need to get shots off here, and it should beat their goalkeeper not being a regular one. Thankfully, we get the ball back there off the back of a clearance. Dimas with a shot, it gets charged down. So unfortunately, the shot options we're taking aren't too good, and a poor giveaway there, Kato on the counter attack. But thankfully, he drags that one wide off the back of that. We are going to go attacking to try and get more shots off here and test their very makeshift goalkeeper late on in this game. Unfortunately, it won't work because it's going to go to penalties, but that could also work in our favour because they don't have a proper goalkeeper. So this still might be on our side here in terms of who's going to be the favourites going into this penalty shootout, especially in front of our home fans. We'll just sort out the order here and come back and hopefully make our way through the semis in a penalty shootout. And we'll sort out the order here for this penalty shootout. Yokotomo's probably the only surprise being as far down as he is, but that's because his finishing actually not that good. So we've got some better finishers than him above him there on that penalty shootout order. But apart from that, kind of makes sense, especially those first four. So let's make our way here into the team talk, and hopefully with them having no proper goalkeeper, this can help us pick up a win. We'll tell the guys, relax, pick your spot, then we'll pump them up with the individual talks here and see if that helps us here make our way through to the semis. Pretty sure this is our first penalty shootout here with Omiya Ardija. Indeed, that's the case now. Just got to figure out here what camera usually works with the shootouts, because it's been a little while since we had that one with the All Whites at the last World Cup in our previous series. Apparently behind goal reversed doesn't actually work, so maybe this should be vertical scrolling, and we need to lower the camera height and also up the zoom. Let's just try this out and see if it works. Down to the lowest height, we'll zoom in about 3/4, and that should work, I think, here for this penalty shootout. So we're up first here, and it's Kinoshita, our star striker, who thankfully we left on the pitch. The defensive midfielder goes the wrong way, of course, defensive midfielder in goal. Top right corner to beef here. Not too sure if a regular goalkeeper would have saved that one. And their first effort from Masa gets saved from Higashi. That might already be telling that goalkeeper situation that these guys are suffering. Next up is Lee Hyun-ju. He doesn't even move that much. He puts it away bottom right corner. This should hopefully be easy work for us now, because their goalkeeper might not be much chop. Unfortunately, this time Higashi can't quite make a save, but really, if any of our players don't score here, that's a bit embarrassing. Next up, Kabayama sends the goalie the wrong way. I say goalie, defensive midfielder, because of course that situation, but 3-1 in a strong position early. Hopefully don't get FM'd here in the shootout. Unfortunately, Nagakura there just puts that one past Higashi, goes the right way, but doesn't quite get there. Next up, Shimoda score this one, and a long way to winning the shootout. He almost saves it, but it goes for his hand, so maybe there, a regular goalkeeper might have stopped that one. Thankfully, he's not, so we go 4-2 in front, so now must score territory here for Albirex Niigata. Next up, it is Hoshi. Can Higashi come up here with a big save for us? He almost gets there, but can't quite get to it, and he puts it away, does Hoshi. So to be fair, those last two penalties pretty similar for both teams, but we score this one. We go through to the semi-finals, and taking it, Evan Dimas, our captain, hopefully can put this one away because he's actually suspended for our next game in the J1. Goes to the right, the goalkeeper doesn't even move, and we pick up a win in the penalty shootout. To be fair, that feels just a little bit hollow with that injury situation that they did suffer in extra time. The Japanese Cup rules there, coming back to bite Albirex Niigata with no subs there in extra time. That did help us, to be fair, based on stats. We probably should have got the job done there in regular time, and if not that, then in extra time, especially in the second half. A little bit disappointed at the lack of highlights once they did lose that goal. He probably should have actually just told them to shoot on sight from that stage, but thankfully we eventually get the job done there in a penalty shootout. Hopefully that won't come back to bite us in our next J1 game, but to be fair, that gets Tokyo Verdy, a team that we had the wood over in J2 last season, so even if we need to rotate, hopefully going to be okay for that game before the full rotation players get a run in that J-League Cup quarterfinal against the J3 team. But thankfully, after a penalty shootout, we've made our way through to the semis, which will be against the Vispa Fukuoka. So we get a little bit of FM luck there on our side in the quarterfinal of the Emperor's Cup with that goalkeeping injury and extra time, which is brought up there in the report down below. Definitely felt like that had an impact, especially in that penalty shootout. To be fair, they still scored 3 of theirs, but we saved the first of theirs. Their goalkeeper really got nowhere near ours apart from Shimoda. Maybe regular goalkeeper would have saved that one, but we go through 5-3 on penalties, and it does set up a pretty big tie again in the semi-final against the Vispa Fukuoka, who are down in 4th, and that's a team the last time we took on, we lost to in the J1 at the start of June. To be fair, that was in quite a hectic period, so I think next time we take them on, it'll be a bit quieter. It looks like that will be the case, indeed, a whole week-long break before that game, depending on what happens in the J-League Cup. But hopefully, get past those guys and make our first Cup final of this save. But I think that will do it for today's episode off the back of that penalty shootout win over Albirex Niigata. If you enjoyed that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Absolute given what we're going to be coming back for in tomorrow's episode. Gonna skip over the Cup because really should be getting the job done there over a J3 team. Kawasaki Frontale in the J1, first versus second. Of course, there's a bit of a gap now starting to form between second and third, so if we can pick up wins in between now and then and also beat those guys tomorrow, that might get us on our way to a league title with, by that stage, around 6 or 7 games left in the J1 season. So we're going to come back again tomorrow for a 1-game episode, but it could be a big one, could be a bit of a total decider in the J1, might be first versus second, unless things change in between now and then. So until then, thank you very much for watching, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.